A woman wanting revenge for everything she has been through starts scratching a car. And the owner of that car, who was on the phone, starts to notice that situation. He was very annoyed, because he didn't know that someone would be capable of doing something like that. And he's just waiting to see what this woman is capable of doing. He couldn't believe what he was seeing, so he decided to talk to her, and got out of the car to understand the situation. When he asks her why she was doing this, she answers that she scratched the car because it had stained her blouse, and then he remembers what happened a few minutes ago. She was walking calmly on the street and drinking her juice, when she accidentally bumped into this man's car and spilled the juice all over her blouse. But, believing he was right, says she should walk on the street more carefully. But the woman says he ran her over. Outraged that she scratched his car, he says that he could sue her for it, but that he was thinking of a way for her to pay for it, and asks if she could pose as his girlfriend for a day. She asks why, and he starts to explain that he has to go sign the divorce papers with his ex-wife, and that she will be there with a boyfriend, and he doesn't want to go alone. She says that is not her problem. And he asks what she wants in return, if she needs money. So she says she'll take it, but he'll need to buy her a new blouse. And he says he'll buy her several new clothes. She thinks about it, and agrees. And then makes a deal with him. A while later, he takes her to a friend's house, who would be responsible for making her even more beautiful. The two of them are quite surprised, as it has been a long time since they have seen each other. They say hello to each other, and his friend asks why the unexpected visit and if he would need his help. He answers saying that he has a little challenge for him today, that he would trust his work, and that he needs to make her the most beautiful woman in town, as he will be reunited with his ex-wife, and that she needs his magic. He then asks for 3 hours and said that she will come back as a goddess, but he says he needs it to be in 1 hour, so his friend says it will be more expensive. And he asks if he will accept it anyway. So he says yes, and asks him to make her flawless. As she enters, he says that it will be just her, that he will only see her after she is ready. He agrees and says he trusts his work. Later, while talking on the phone, he is quite impressed to see her leaving that house, because she really looked totally different. Her hair was beautiful, and she was dressed in a perfect outfit. He is open-mouthed and can't seem to believe what he is seeing. But she almost falls when she walks, because she was not used to walk in high heels. He thanks his friend, and says that she looks wonderful. She thanks him, but says she just doesn't like to wear high heels. He again tells her that she looks perfect, but that there is one thing missing to make her even more beautiful, and hands her a box. Inside is a beautiful necklace, so the woman thanks him for the gift. And then he says that he will put it on her. She is quite embarrassed, but her smile shows how happy she was for it. Looking at her, he says that now she is perfect. And they both leave hand in hand. When they get out of the car, he asks her to wait a little, because he will wait for his lawyer to arrive, since she has the divorce documents. At the same moment, another woman arrives selling roses, and asks him if he wants to buy them as a gift for his girlfriend. She says that the roses are beautiful, and begins to tell her life story, that when she was younger, she also sold roses, but they were not as beautiful as the ones she is selling now. She thanks her, and the man decides to buy all the roses. The saleswoman is quite impressed, and says that his girlfriend is beautiful. She tries to tell him that they were not boyfriend and girlfriend, but he interrupts her and says yes, she is his girlfriend, and he is lucky to have her in his life. She thanks him for the gift she has just received, and he is surprised to learn that she has also sold roses in the past, and asks if she has any more surprises to tell him, and asks what her dream is and what she likes to do. Very shyly she says that her biggest dream is to have a family, and that she wants to have a big family, a family she never had. She says that she also dreams of being an art teacher or a painter, that she loves sunsets, that whenever she has time she draws, and that this would be her dream. He thinks it's beautiful and laughs, and she embarrassedly asks him to stop laughing. He says that he doesn't think it's funny, that he thinks her dream is wonderful. She then agrees, and says that this question was very difficult to answer, but quite curious, asks him how their relationship ended. Quite sad and with his head down, he answers that his ex-wife cheated on him with his best friend, that his ex always believed him to be a loser and not good enough for her. She tried to comfort him, and then asked him if after all this he still loves her, and he said no, because she had never listened to him and never shared his dreams. Then she asks him what he wanted to do with his life, and what his dream would be, for she was curious. He rather not say, for she would laugh at him. She insists and says that maybe she will laugh just a little. Then he thinks it over, and says that he always had a dream of living on a mountain with his family, and dreams of being a carpenter. She laughs disguisedly, and he says that he knew she would laugh, but she says she laughed because can't imagine him being a carpenter. And he says that this has always been his dream, but that his ex-wife and his mother made him choose architecture. And she says that the funny thing is that her father is a carpenter. He asks what she thinks and approaches her mouth, but they are interrupted by his lawyer. She greets him, hands him the divorce papers, and asks him not to call her outside of his working hours anymore, and leaves. The ex-wife, already at the place where they had agreed to meet, begins to complain about the delay. Meanwhile, they both were arriving, but he was already acting differently and looking at her with a different eye. She calls him to go. And on the other side his ex-wife spots his supposed new girlfriend. He takes a deep breath. And his ex-wife argues with her boyfriend, because he was smiling too much. So they both decide to go in. He hands her the papers for her to start signing. And his ex-wife starts insulting him, saying that he hasn't changed and that he was late, and starts signing the paper. While she was signing, he decides to introduce that woman to the two of them, but is interrupted, and she says her name is Maria and that she is his girlfriend. They meet, and she says that there must be something wrong, because with her he is always on time. His ex answers that at least he learned this from her. And she insults him again, saying that she is sorry to say, but if she is expecting someone romantic, she should look for someone else, because he is not, and that he didn't care about that. And she says no, that for the short time they had together he was romantic, because he had gotten roses for her, and that next week they are going to Paris. The ex's boyfriend starts saying he loves roses, and says he wants to visit Paris, and wishes the best for the both of them, but his wife tells him to shut up. She adds that their dream is to have a mountain home, get married, and have a big family. But the ex is impressed, and asks if it's not too soon for them to get married, since they haven't even met yet. He gets stressed, and tells her to stop asking these questions, and tells his supposed girlfriend that she doesn't have to answer, but she answers saying that it's okay, and starts speaking beautiful things to him, and says that she thinks it's beautiful when he gets emotional when he sees her happy, and how gentle he is when he touches her, and what she likes the most is that he is thoughtful in the small details. He says that was beautiful, and again his girlfriend tells him to shut up. Trying to get him out of that situation, she asks him if he doesn't want to wait for her in the car. But he answers saying no, that he was enjoying the conversation. She is very angry, and asks him to go to the car. He says he doesn't understand how she treats him like this, and still wants to start a family. With all politeness and affection, he asks her if she doesn't want to wait in the car, and then she leaves them both alone. She asks if he is in love. And he doesn't answer and asks her to sign it. But she insists again and asks if he is sure about this, and starts to say that she made a mistake with both him and her current boyfriend, and asks if he doesn't want to go with her to Paris and have children. But he interrupts her and says no, that there is nothing more between them, and that he was betrayed by her with his best friend. And that she wants to go back just because there's a woman interested in him, and says that he needs a woman who will be a companion, who will share his dreams and listen to him. She asks him if he loves a woman like that. Then he signs and answers saying that yes, he needs her, and leaves her alone after signing the papers. When she returns she asks if it's over, and asks if the trip to Paris is really going to happen. He says that Paris can wait for later, and that he wants to live the moment and get to know her better.